Hey, what's cooking? It's Cook, and today we're going to learn how to B-hop in CS2. Now a little bit of history. I used to be an oppo for a clan and I used to play LAN CS 1.6. That is where I had to master vanilla movement. Because as an operator in 1.6, you were not holding angles, you were using your op as a shotgun, jumping around and trying to be really aggressive. Now this is where we realize CS2 is a completely different fish from CS 1.6. I know a lot of YouTubers, they try to create configs, but these are not allowed on Faceit or competitive play if you want to really go pro. So I'll not take that route. So we're going to learn the vanilla route. It may not be consistent, it may be very hard, but we're going to do that. So let's focus on the controllables. First thing we need to learn, which is the most important, is air strafing. Second thing is perfs. And the third thing which we need to learn is sync. Now let's come to the uncontrollables. Things like subtick, things like stamina cost, like these are trying to weigh you down. CS2 is trying to weigh you down, but we're going to try anyway. So let's get started, my little bunny. I recommend you use this bind. So bind your mouse wheel to jump. You can do up, down or both. And then use the show pause command so we can kind of see how we're doing right over here. So the first thing which I'm going to tell you, which is quite evident and I've told in my previous movement videos, is not to press W after jumping. Like you need to treat the W key after jumping the same way whack kind of detects cheaters, like they don't exist. So forget the W key, and after jumping, hold the key in which direction you need to move. So you jump, you hold either D or A, and then you look to the right. Now this mechanism of looking and pressing that direction movement key, that's what's called a sync. So you want to sync your movement to the movement you want to move in, but it doesn't have to be sudden. So you just can't say this is sync, right? Although in some areas you'll have to do these kind of strafes, but not right now. That's an advanced concept. So you just kind of sync it. Just sync it. Make sure you're smooth with it. But you want to practice this, and that's why I recommend you coming into Palace on Mirage and just trying to do that. Just try to do these wide right strafes, and you look at your velocity and try to see how high you can go, like as high as you can go. Those are like kind of reflective of how good your strafes are getting. And you see over here we also get 292. Now one thing you need to avoid is you don't want to have a dominant side. I mean, you're still going to have a dominant side, so kind of train your strafes both for the right and the left in equal manners. Like you don't want one side bicep to be bigger than the other one, so you train your muscles unilaterally. I hope that's the right word. Okay, I hope so. But you want to train both sides, right? You want to train the right strafing and then you want to train the left strafing. Now chaining this up together by performing a jump in between, that is what we call is a B-hop. Now this is a failed one. When you land that jump where you don't make that sound, that's called a perf. That means that you actually hit your B-hop. So you do your movement, you do your strafe, and in between you hit the perf, and then you have a complete B-hop. Now CS2 is trying to push you down, and you don't have to worry about it. Right now, this is how you do the simple B-hop. So practice this for a while, try to get your strafes right, try to go around some kind of tough terrain where like you have to maneuver your strafes to get out of position, and this will generally make you a good movement player. And you want to practice and try to do as much. But now you might be seeing me doing some double strafes. So now let's get into a little bit of advanced concept, which is called routing. So let's say I want to get from point A to point B. Now, there are a lot of ways I can get from point A to point B. I can do this left-right strafes, which we usually do and which you'll usually see people doing. But it's not mandatory. I could just strafe left and left. Of course, it would just take me into a circle. But knowing routes for the various jumps are very important. So one of the basic ways from getting point A to point B is just doing these left and right strafes to get from point A to point B. So let's say I start from here, I'll just do my right, left, and they kind of form semicircles and allow us to go in a straight line. But you can also double strafe, in which case you're already on a straight line, but your semicircles are formed in between perfs. Now this also allows you to gain extra speed and velocity and extra unit distance. And in advanced concepts, like you'll chain this multi-strafes to about maybe 8, maybe 7, maybe 6. And there's also concepts of like dead strafing. However, it is always important to sync these strafes. If you're not syncing your strafes, it's worse than doing a single strafe. So keep that in mind. If you're struggling with multiple strafes, keep your strafes single. It's always good to be in sync. Now let's talk about a concept called Prestrafing. Prestrafing is when you hold your D or A key before making a strafe jump. Now sometimes this will allow you to gain some extra units of height, like this jump on van. I'm in distance, by the way. So over here, even before I make my second jump, I'm holding D. And this allows me to pre-strafe. Now certain jumps require you to do double strafes to do them consistently. But if a jump is easy enough to do with a single strafe, do it with that. Like this jump over here, it's not easy to do with a single strafe. But if you do it with a double strafe, it's always easier. So always remember that. Try to do things in a simple manner as far as you can go. Now, if you want to learn some movement jumps, you'll find some videos right over here. I also have a different channel named Cook. You can subscribe to it for shorter form videos. And I hope you're doing well. Channel memberships are live, and I want to thank all of these channel members.